So this whole project was born out of a incredibly sleepless night. It was probably midnight or something, and I hadn't been able to sleep for hours and didn't feel like I was going to anytime soon. So it should come across my YouTube algorithm except a City Skylines speedrun. Now I frequent the City Planner Plays and just like everybody else who's into the game, but I had never really heard of someone doing a speedrun for City Skylines before. So a quick Google search later, and I discovered that, like, it's legitimately a thing. Like, people do speedruns for City Skylines. And I was like, you know what? I'm not very good at a lot of video games, but City Skylines is one that I'm actually, like, legitimately, like, kind of passable at. So I figured this could be a fun thing to do with my hours of time that'll be wasted not sleeping, which is unfortunate, but the reality sometimes. So my first step was going about choosing a map. And I knew that I wanted one that was at least flat because, sorry, City Planner Plays, but I'm not going to be following the topography. This is a speed run. It's literally about laying down roads. So I think I chose like arid plains or something. I'll have to double check that and put it in the description, but I'm not sure what map it is off the top of my head. I actually started this 2 times, which is why the city is called Speedrun 2. The first time I literally laid down everything, went to lay the pipes, and ran out of money. And it was a stupid mistake, budgeting error. What happened is that I accidentally did not press pause at the very beginning. Ideally, you should press pause on the timeline until you have roads built and power and water. Otherwise, you're just in a deficit of money right off the bat, losing things that you don't have. So that was a stupid mistake that I fixed this time around and was able to actually successfully start the city. Hence the name Speedrun 2. I'm sure you can obviously tell, but this is 100% a time-lapse. If I hadn't time-lapsed it, it would have been an hour and 40 long minute video, and that is just absurd. Nobody wants to watch an hour and 40 minutes. So I did time-lapse it, I think it's like 2 times speed or something, to get like a 40-minute video, which I felt like was long, but like semi-reasonable, because we all know everyone's going to watch it at 2 times speed on YouTube anyways. As far as mods, I'm not using anything that affects gameplay like automatic bulldoze or move it mod or anything like that. I think really the only mod I have on is network extensions, just to give me more road options, because I'm not going to take the time to add yield signs or things like that. But if I can use network extensions 2-lane road instead of the vanilla 2-lane road, then I don't automatically get all of those stoplights and everything in there, which is lovely. As far as the initial layout goes, I'm trying to lay it out in a way that minimizes traffic a little bit at least. I'm trying to use as many 3-way intersections as possible, not doing 4-way junctions, just because I know that that creates mass mayhem. I am trying to somewhat pay attention to road hierarchy, like 2-lane roads to 1-lane roads, to not having businesses straight off of that. I don't know. I'll probably end up going back later after the speedrun and fixing it and making it a more efficient city, because right now, let's be honest, it's just going to be a hot mess. A grid usually isn't like my first go-to. I haven't found it very successful in the past long-term strategy, but again, it is the quickest to lay out, easiest to lay out. It is rather efficient, and being able to lay out the grids in vertical, horizontal will help with traffic a little bit, which is nice. I do think that the most important things to have are health, education, and happiness is made mostly by parks. So to make it grow as quickly as possible, I am putting a lot of those in before I do some of my other services. Secondary importance to me personally are fire, traffic, and public transport. Those just help the city run more efficiently, which will help the city grow. I mean, I know it's technically just a speed run, but a city can't grow if there's too much traffic and no one can get into the city. So it is a small thing. You'll see every so often here I do have to pause and wait for more money. Luckily, usually the next goal comes pretty immediately right after that, giving me a good influx of cash. Money-wise, my general strategy is to immediately minimize expenses and only increase them when I start making money. As far as loans go, I'm not afraid to take them, not gonna lie. And I do kind of play the system a little bit. As soon as my lower level loan is ready to pay off, I take a higher loan and pay off the lower loan, and then take the lower loan again. So it's a little bit funky, but it ends up working better in my favor. For zoning, this area to the right over by the highway, I am reserving for industrial to have later. I do have the industrial section to the north as well, but I do feel like closer to the highway should always be saved for industrial since you're going to have the noise pollution leaking through. I am trying to disperse commercial in between the residential zones to make the city run a little bit better, make it so people don't have to travel as far. So in each of these grid sections that I'm creating, I'm trying to have at least one of those blocks be, when I say blocks, I mean one of those shaded in sections. I'm trying to have at least one of those in each square be commercial. In the top right hand corner of the screen, I do have a countdown for the entire video, so you know that it does end at some point. I do get there at some point, and underneath that is the next goal that I am trying to reach. They tend to come pretty quick towards the beginning and spread out more towards the end. So the last half of the video is just a lot of me building. Really, the name of the game on this time lapse is just to expand, and just build it and zone it as quickly as possible. And when you run out of money, then you just start zoning things. And then when you have money again, you start building the roads again, and then you run out of money and you start zoning again. Occasionally you can get a good chunk here and there, but it's just trying to keep up is insane. And oh, that road is so crooked and it's bothering me so much. Aesthetically, like, I detest so much about this city, but it's a speedrun, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I will 100%, I already know, be coming back to the city after the speedrun and zhuzhing it up a bit to make it look presentable, because right now it's just, ugh, it's killing my soul to see this. I hate having to use landfills, but at this point in the game there's no other option. Later I'll end up emptying them out to use recycling centers instead, but it is what it is. Also, can we talk about how janky that random highway interchange is right there? Ugh. I already know that having that industrial right on the river next to the water is going to be a really bad idea. I am trying so hard not to buy an excess number of squares. I feel like that's just more clicks that waste time. So I'm trying to keep things as tight together as possible. I do know that eventually I'm going to have to branch up north or to the other side of the highway. And the worst part about that, speedrun wise, is that I'm going to have to build highway interchanges, which is a chunky time consumer. And I am terrible at just wanting things to look pretty. And you can see me here being like, oh no, that's not good enough, gonna go under instead. And I guess if it's underground, I don't have to care so much about how it looks. But I just know this is going to be a mess. At least I was smart enough to know not to build commercial right off the exit right there. That would have been a disaster. Thank goodness for high density zoning though. I can now go in and fill in anything that hasn't built up yet and just replace that with high density. That'll definitely help boost the number of people moving into the city, and it just takes a lot of clicking to get there, so not ideal to have to waste all these clicks, but it's the fastest way I could find. Two-lane road, again, trying to keep up with road hierarchy to help out a little bit. Ah, yes, utilities, Jennifer. Utilities is a good thing. Ugh, and wasting money right there because I just didn't do things right the first time. At this point, I'm still 2,000 away from my next goal, and I'm not hemorrhaging money anymore, but I am building fast enough that I am regularly using up my money. I'm just trying to build roads and smaller things until I have enough to do that. As you can see, again, prioritizing parks. That was me forgetting that I had taxes that I could bump up, which definitely gave me a quick influx. Ugh, awful four-way intersection with a highway exit. That's just the worst. But at least we got more money. Next goal is going to be 18,000. And I can finally start maybe using some incineration plants, although they are still the more expensive option. Good for me realizing that power is going to be an issue soon. At this point, I'm definitely running out of room in that square to build quickly and efficiently, and I'm just going to have to bite the bullet, buy a square, figure out the next game plan. I'll probably end up buying to the right, as I've already started building on that side of the highway. That makes the most sense to me. It is relatively flat off to the right here, so that'll help. It does look like there's some grading that might cause an issue and take away some building space, but it'll be something. Ugh, I hate that those squares aren't perfectly lined up. There's some dead space in between, but it would just take too much time to go back and redo it. So I guess it is what it is. This side over here is probably going to be like 90% high density, just because it'll go faster, which is the whole name of the game right now. I'm so sorry, City Planner Plays. It's probably killing your soul to see me do this with the water lines, but it is what it is. You can see that I'm trying to alternate vertical, horizontal roads again, trying to minimize some traffic. We do have more industrial need right now, so we're going to have to build some industrial area off to the south. It looks like there's some fertile land, so we might be able to get some farming in there. I don't think I'll take the time to make a farming zone, but I was smart enough to do offices along the shoreline over here, but we'll see how long it takes for everyone to get sick from pollution in the water. Oh my gosh, and all that trash piling up. Dear goodness. I think this is the point where I was like, it is 1 o'clock in the morning. Am I just wasting time? Is this all going to fall apart? Because if it is, I'm not doing it again. You can see just there's notifications about everything everywhere. Abandoned houses, trash piling up, people need electricity, it's not building up, only 300 people moving in every week, and there's not really a demand for anything, which obviously means I need more services, but it was 1 in the morning. I wasn't super thinking clearly, to be honest. Finally noticing that I need trash. Good, remembering healthcare, definitely important. Parks are cheap, so again, I just default to those. That's the cheapest park you can get. And if you have noticed, my people are still happy despite the trash issue. So that's a win. At least that'll be mostly residential, so hopefully not too much traffic up there. Except for everybody's that's going to be coming to the new build off to the right is going to have to go through that area. Ugh. Just not happy with this. Okay, to be clear, I'm happy with it as a speedrun, not happy with this as like a long-term city. Reached the next goal, which is awesome, but now I have to wait until 36,000 people to get another influx of cash funds and I think build opportunities. I can't remember what comes with the next goal. Starting to hit the hilled terrain over here, and it doesn't seem like it's affecting the number of squares I can build in too much. There's just a couple, like 1 row of squares that I can't build in, so hopefully that won't mark me down too much on efficiency. Oh, there's that whole section up there as well. Oh well. I always feel like it's a weird game to play with money, just because in the beginning you're always like, do I have enough? Do I have enough? Do I have enough? And then you get to a point where you're just making insane bucket loads of cash, like 20,000, 30,000 a week, and you always have millions and you have no idea what to do with it. And it's like, where was this? Like, early game. Which I guess makes sense, real-wise connections, but it is annoying. I hate how I segmented that up with all of the industrial and offices at the bottom and then residential up above, just because they're all going to have to travel so far away. That really is not ideal. Ugh, so much trash. Probably my least favorite part of the game. Good. Putting in more childcare, death care, make people live longer, meaning that population isn't dying off and that my population numbers stay as high as possible. About to hit 30,000 people in the city, which is good. Oh, that pollution. I usually have a mod on that makes it so I at least can't see the pollution on the ground because it's just gross, to be honest, and the city looks so much better without that look. I get that it's part of the game, and I get that it's realism or whatever, but ugh, it just looks disgusting. And there's no real way to avoid it either, because you have to have industry. You have to export things or import things, and there's no logical way that you could import every single item that all of your commercial needs. That'd be an interesting idea for a city, but I honestly don't think that it would be possible or work very well at all. So you have to have the industry, and yet the industry makes your city look like crap. So that's why I usually have that mod on. I tried to be as vanilla-y as possible, though, for this round. I think this is where I realized that I didn't have my industry spaced out well enough, and so I was trying to put some industry up here. Still not ideal because of how far away it is from the highway, meaning that all of my industry has to go through the entire city before it gets there. Oh my gosh, and there's that whole section over there that doesn't even have water, and I probably haven't even noticed yet. I do have a pretty good cash flow at this point. Oh, crooked road. You can see that I bothered myself so much with the crooked road that I started to pay more attention now. We have harbors, which is pointless. We don't have enough water area to even warrant that, so get out of that as quickly as possible. So much high density going in over here, and probably not enough education and health to cover them right now. And I've taken all of my loans. Congratulations me for being so financially responsible. At this point, I think I was so frustrated with how far everything was from the highway that I started to do this northern section just because I wanted another highway interchange so bad. I knew that it was going to waste time, I knew that it was going to waste clicks, but that was the fastest I could do. I usually like to do a roundabout over the highway with roads coming off on either side, but there's just no time for that. It's crooked again. I think we'll have some industrial sandwiched between these two areas with another mirrored area on top where we have, again, each block being mostly residential with one section of commercial. At this point, I'm losing 500 people and I don't even know why. There's no demand for anything. It's probably because I am out of power and I haven't even noticed yet. Ugh, stupid. Just stupid things. I get so in the zone and it was so late at night that I just did not even pay attention to the city that I was building. I just kept building without looking at everything else I'd already done. If I did this again, which would be a big time commitment and probably not, but if I did do it again, that would definitely be something I would improve on, is paying more attention. You can see me doing my little loan trick right there where I had enough money to pay off the loan and then took the loan again to get that extra $13,000. Such a terrible financial move in the real world, but it is what it is. Is that the title of this episode now? It is what it is. I think I've said that like 7 times. You can see me doing weird area things trying to avoid 4-way intersections, but it ends up looking okay, I guess, road-wise. I don't like having residential so close to that highway interchange, but I guess it is what it is, as I have said so often. Ah! Am I finally going to realize that I need power? Good job, Jennifer. Now I'm going to go overboard with 50,000 power plants. I'm not losing people anymore, thank goodness for fixing the power situation. And oh, this traffic don't look Biffa. Promise I will come back later and fix it. Okay, I could not resist from doing a little bit of lane mathematics, especially while I wait for the areas I just zoned to build. It was just bothering. It was just so bad. And people need to be able to get into the city. And hey, right after doing lane mathematics, I did bump up an extra 100 people moving in a week. Is that related? I like to think so. I don't even have the traffic manager on right now. I usually do. But without it, the best I can do is lane mathematics. That's why it was so important for me to have the network extensions mod, because I needed that 2-lane highway road. If I was playing straight vanilla, I wouldn't have had that 2-lane highway, which really, since watching Biffa play, has become an absolute necessity. I think this will be another industrial area up there so that I can take some burden off of the industrial area far to the east. Not everything has to go all the way through the city. Ugh, so much trash. But I'm finally using incinerators. I have that amount of money where I can start justifying that. And this is me, staring at the traffic, knowing that it's killing my soul, but not doing anything about it. Except for maybe making priority roads. That's like, ooh, it's okay, but not the best solution. I guess in vanilla mode it really is the best solution. I do have 400 to 500 people moving in a week, which is a good rate to have for a speed run. It's just not filling in as quickly as I would like. And because I have so many things zoned extra, I don't have any demand for things, which is hard not having a guideline on what to build or what kinds of things I need. At this point, I was like out of ideas. It was kind of just a waiting game. Like, what am I missing? I know that I need something. I was just so lost in the thick of things that I couldn't even process what I was doing at this point. Everything just becomes a muddle. And I built the grid slightly off from the square area guidelines, and so I can no longer have that road on the far left side be straight, which is rather unfortunate. And now you can see that I'm starting to get a little bit creative with my road, because I was just so tired of the grid, and I'm waiting for things anyways, so why not make it unique and different? So we'll have a nice little city center area. I'm glad I remembered my trick of turning off the landfills once they're full so that they're not eating up the budget. Remember what I said before about, I know I'm missing something. What am I missing? Me finally thinking to go check. Well, let's go check all of our services, shall we? Looks like I was missing a whole butt ton of services. Who would have guessed? It'll make people happier to have those removed. I know that technically people move into areas faster if there are still the abandoned houses there, but at this point, having a happy neighborhood was more important to me. They can rebuild, it'll be just fine, but I want to keep that happiness up so that it attracts more people to the city. I think that was all left over from my electricity fiasco. Education boost is important. Educates more people. More educated people are more happy. Well, that made sense grammatically. The more educated this population is, the happier they are, drawing more people to the city. So that's all related. I do have the money now where I can spend it on luxuries like more universities, bus depots, things like that. So just creating basic loops around these blocks is going to help people get to where they need to go, meaning that there's not going to be as many people on the road, lessening the traffic on that stupid, awful highway and those terrible interchanges, meaning that more people can actually make it into the city, which is my hope, because the rate at which people are moving in has started slowing down. The nice thing about having a grid system is that it is really easy to lay out bus lines. There's just something so lovely about seeing those smiley faces just like rippling through the city. Oh, I love it. I do have industrial demand again. Hallelujah for demand of something, but I don't really want more industrial on the left side of that highway, so I have to figure something out on the right side, which is not ideal because it's all squishy, but hey. I did give in and put some industrial up there, surrounded heavily and insulated heavily by offices. Hopefully that'll help something. So close to 75,000, and I can just feel the end coming near. At this point, it's just like rinse, wash, repeat, rinse, wash, repeat. Is that even how you wash your hair? You rinse your hair, then you wash your hair, then you rinse your hair, then you repeat. Yes, so rinse, wash, repeat. Yeah, that's right, rinse, wash, repeat. All of those janky water lines, blah. Yay, metropolitan area of 75,000. I have to get to 90, but that trash issue is just the worst. I hate trash. It's the worst part of this game, in my opinion. Okay, no. The pollution. How the pollution looks is the worst part of the game. After that is trash. I do like that with some of the newer mods or assets, you can have recycling centers large recycling centers, sometimes even incineration plants or power plants that get their energy from burning the trash, which is a good alternative. I do like that. And once it starts to pile up, it takes so long to remedy the issue. It takes almost double the amount of trash facilities to fix the issue, and even then it just takes time. Right now it's looking okay. I do see a death sign over there, which makes me a little bit worried. I don't like the idea of hitting a death wave before I finish the goal. Time for another shaky intersection, y'all. It always amazes me how much industrial you need. I mean, I know it's the main job source for all of these houses that we're building, but it still feels like a lot of jobs should be in the commercial area. I don't know. Something about the ratios of how much industry you need always just surprises me. I guess it makes sense because you not only have to have the jobs, but you have to make all the goods for those jobs, which is a lot of goods, especially considering I don't, as you can see, I deleted the rail line coming in, so I don't even have any import from air or sea or train, which is just terrible, meaning that I do have to create everything. So maybe that's why I have so much industry. Come on, Jennifer. Water and electricity. No one's gonna move in if you don't have that basics. Ugh, just go up north and fix it, please. Forget about the traffic. I know it's awful. Just live with it. No, too many underground connections. This is bad. Just bad choices. Bad 2 a.m. choices. No, just stop it. Finally. Really, at this point, though, I could just feel the end coming. And I was just so happy because, honestly, it still did not feel like I could really go to bed at this point. Wasn't tired, but I was ready to be done with this specific challenge. I really do like the idea of perfecting a city and making it beautiful and making it fancy and efficient. Oh, I just love efficiency. And so the speedrun was a nice idea. I was just tired of it at this point. The end was near, so I stopped caring. You can see that I'm gaining 500 to 600 people a week, which is great. At this point, I'm just trying to keep that up to save a couple seconds towards the end. I don't know. Probably everything I'm doing right now is just useless, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, as my grandpa used to say. Really, there's nothing I can do at this point, so this is me going around checking all of my landfills because trash is demon. Yeah, I guess I'll just sit back and watch, maybe. Find a nice viewpoint, except for it's really hard to find a nice viewpoint in a city littered with pollution. It just looks terrible, and oh, that river just looks awful. This whole thing just kills my soul. I gave up trying to find a good viewpoint because there is none. It's just ugly. But it's done. It's ugly, but it's my ugly. Obviously, I didn't go for all of the monuments. I just stuck to getting all of the milestones, unique buildings, things like that. Trying to get all of those monuments would be a completely different challenge. So it's time to save. And thank heavens it is done. I did end up going back and not only doing an entire day where I just worked solely on fixing the traffic, but I also went back and did a day where I made the city look nice, because it's me. I have to have it look nice. You know, some tree borders, things like that.